Melania. Liberals hate it, conservatives love it. But who's right? Let me state from the outset, I don't hate Melania Trump. And I'm going to attempt to avoid American politics as much as I can here. Melania doesn't seem particularly concerned with her husband's decisions, at least not in her film, so we'll avoid the president's politics too. Director Brett Ratner documents Melania Trump's final 20 days as a civilian before her husband's 2025 inauguration, as well as the day of and the day after. With so much time to cover and a runtime of only 1 hour and 48 minutes, you might expect Melania to be a swift ride. However, the PG-rated documentary really drags, with constant unnecessary shots, mostly of Melania walking, sometimes with other people. This is especially odd given how busy she seems to be in real life. This movie is almost propaganda, but not in the way you might think. It's a rich woman attempting to define herself for the public, like a Taylor Swift documentary. Whether or not Melania's portrayal of herself is accurate is irrelevant. It's inherently narcissistic to make a movie about yourself. And no, this is not a paparazzi director following around a famous person with a camera unwanted. Melania Trump is listed as the producer in the credits, meaning she was intimately involved in the creation of the film. She also voices over much of the documentary, adding commentary to string along the unrelated events happening on screen. To be clear, Melania has Mrs. Trump's fingerprints all over it. Amazon MGM distributed this supposedly $40 million documentary. Hilariously, Jeff Bezos can be seen mingling with the other elites at multiple points during the movie his company funded. Much of that bloated budget likely stemmed from Melania's soundtrack, featuring the likes of the Rolling Stones, Elvis Presley, the Village People, and Michael Jackson. Apparently, the Slovenian immigrant's favorite song is Billie Jean. I personally found that funny. On top of the insane decision to spend as much money as he did, Brett Ratner also made some really peculiar directorial decisions. For example, why does a black spiritual version of Amazing Grace, which mind you is a very Protestant song, play when Melania goes to visit the Roman Catholic Cathedral St. Patrick's in New York? Another bizarre inclusion is 35mm film footage, exclusively in the third act, cutting in at seemingly random times. By axing the needless walking shots and the 35mm footage, Ratner could have shaved at least 30 minutes off the runtime. But for how much money he spent, which mind you is about 10 times the amount he should have spent, I understand why he wanted to make a little bit longer of a movie. A pet peeve I have with interviews and documentaries is the phantom voice. If you're unfamiliar, a phantom voice is a crew member or director who speaks to the on-screen talent while being themselves off-screen. The disembodied voice is disorienting in any context, but especially if it isn't set up from the outset as something that will be happening in the tape. That's exactly what happens in Melania. A phantom voice jump scares the audience for the first time about 20 minutes into the picture. It only speaks for around 5 times in the whole movie though. I'm not sure if it's Ratner, a cameraman, or someone else that's speaking, but whoever it was should not have made it into the final edit. From her voiceover and on-screen interactions, we learn the former supermodel believes she is an expert in fashion and interior design, as well as a philanthropist. She seems to have a beauty pageant world peace philosophy about the world, advocating for the Russians to free the Ukrainian children they kidnapped and for Hamas to release the Israeli hostages. Not that these initiatives are wrong, but her solutions seem a little off, like having a Zoom call with Brigitte Macron, and often repeating the names of the charities she runs. Melania Trump comes off as an anti-traditional centrist with globalist tendencies, in stark contradiction to her husband's public persona. She states, quote, One of my goals is to evolve the role of First Lady beyond formal social duties. And also, quote, I fully intend to break old norms. In one scene, she alters the wording to Trump's inaugural address to pacify it. She often mentions her desire for peace and unity. It almost makes me wonder if Melania is the one reading Trump's Truth Social posts and backing him down off the cliffs he's created for himself. The best way I can describe the experience of watching Melania is like window shopping in a ritzy neighborhood. You're not necessarily captivated by the item behind the glass inasmuch as you are transfixed on how expensive and out of reach it is to you. In much the same way, this movie is only interesting in that Melania Trump's life is so foreign to us, regular Americans, that it becomes fascinating. Not that she herself is fascinating. In fact, she actually seems relatively plain and normal in comparison to the characters in her orbit. Rather, her lifestyle is behind such a thick pane of glass that we could never hope to seize hold of it ourselves. For example, the daily problems she faces include how to present a golden egg with caviar at a stately dinner, and which color carpet the White House should have. It's fascinating to watch in the same way a documentary about Queen Elizabeth II is fascinating to watch. Melania lives like a queen, intermingles with literal and figurative queens of the world, and holds as much, if not more, power than those queens. To really hammer my point home, I think I have more in common with the characters in The Godfather than I do with Melania Trump. By being so different from us, she makes the president seem like Shane Gillis, just another one of the boys. She's like a passenger princess to Trump's blue-collar construction worker. Cynically speaking, this film reminds us that Melania Trump is a rich elite in much the same way the Clintons are. Positively speaking, her husband actually comes off very likably. It's nice to see he's the same guy off stage as he is on stage. Donald Trump even talks to his wife the same way he talks to his voters. Melania, on the other hand, is far more complex than she lets on in front of the press. And tacking this in here at the end just because I want to, I'll add that this is one of the most unintentionally funny movies I've seen in a long time. Kamala Harris impatiently checking her watch, Bill Clinton and George Bush chuckling like old pals, and the Trumps dancing to Battle Hymn of the Republic are comedy gold. I really struggled not to burst out in laughter in the movie theater. But that's just my opinion. As always, go support your local movie theater, watch Melania, form your own conclusions, and report back in the comments section with what you thought. I'd love to read what you have to say. For now, I'm done explaining. I'll see you again soon.